This is episode 335 of the Super League Pod, and this is our Super League Round 7 recap show. We question the professionalism of some while celebrating the made-up words of others, with plenty to pick up on for the wonderful pedants out there. We've got an SLP derby to cover, another Leeds loss to unpick, and travel issues to discuss. Plus, results and news from around the world of Rugby League, predictions for the Challenge Cup quarterfinals, and a quiz celebrating a couple of Super League's greatest. Strap in. It's SLP time. Hello listeners, welcome along to episode 335 of the Super League Pod. This week we have myself, Mark, and I'm joined by Sarah. Welcome back, Scoots. You okay?
Yes, thanks. You?
I've got a bit of a cold, so, I'm soldiering on like the brave boy that I am, but I think I'm starting with a cold. I can't be doing with this winter restarting business again that we're having to go through, Scoots. I don't know about what it's like in Hull, but if it's anything like what it's like on this coast, it's been miserable for freezing for a few days, and today it's just miserable.
Yeah, it's felt a bit nicer today, but generally, yeah, it's been really cold.
Yeah. We had the first SLP derby of the year. That'll hot things up, Sarah, when we talk about the match reviews. Do you want to tell us first about our wonderful friend Rob's Megastore?
Yeah, so we're sponsored again by Rob's Megastore, and Rob's Megastore stocks a wide range of toys, stationery, arts and crafts ideas, pet accessories, books, and of course Rugby League birthday cards. You can search for Rob's Megastore on eBay or find the link in our episode blog post on superleaguepod.com. And SLP listeners can use the code SLP10, which is SLP10, at checkout to get 10% off any orders over £5. Or if you enter SLP discount, you can give your 10% towards funding the SLP's running costs instead.
Yep, good stuff. So we've got that Wigan versus Hull game to talk about at the top of the round 7 match reviews. There's also fan views on all the games in Super League, which is good stuff. A couple of late ones in that'll flesh out a couple of the games as well. Results and news from across the game as well. We'll bring all of that this week, and we're going to start with a bit of a shout out to our friends at the Rugby League Record Keepers Club. An update more than anything, and people who aren't members of the Rugby League Record Keepers Club, listen up, because this is more relevant to you than people that are already members. But as of last Saturday, the 2nd of April, the record keeping club, the RKC, released the first tranche of data as part of its ongoing work to create a comprehensive record of the British game. So a complete data set of the Summit era games plus full details of lots of international teams are now freely available on the RKC website, which is www.rugbyleaguerecords.com. A team of over 30 volunteers have been ensuring that the website is kept up to date each week as games are played. So it's going to be the summer era games, the Super League games, are going to be live, updated every week across the whole of the game in England and Europe. Also, a full record of international game will be available ahead of the World Cup later this year. That's part of the partnership I think we've talked about before that the Record Keepers Club has entered into with International Rugby League to become their official statistics provider. And whilst there is now this free release of data, people can still become members as well to help fund and support the ongoing RKC work. So membership of the RKC is open to all for £5 a year, giving access to the club's archive documenting all matches for some clubs, dating all the way back to 1895. It's currently being loaded into the database for future public release. That all needs testing and checking and stress testing to see how that'll work. Prospective members can join via the website, rugbyleaguerecords.com, or by contacting neil.ormston@gmail.com. The club can also be followed on its Facebook page if you just search for the Rugby League Record Keepers Club on Facebook, or the Twitter account, which is at @RL_RKC. We all love an underscore in a Twitter name, don't we? But yeah, I'll put a link to the website on the episode blog post, and everyone can then go and check that out for free who's not already a member of that wonderful group.
Yeah, great resource, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's getting better all the time because they're putting more stuff on there, aren't they?
But
which is good.
really great commitment as well. 30 volunteers keeping it updated.
It's more than you think, and the reason why it can be more effort than you think is because the guys and gals, the people that do it, they care so much about accuracy, as we know from the pedant that is Neil Holmston, one of our favourite friends.
Good pedant, Mark.
No, not at all. It's not a criticism. Certainly not in this case. And talking of Neil, actually, he's been in touch, hasn't he, Sarah, on a topic me and David touched on last week around boosting attendances and revenues. We were talking specifically the Cup, but Neil's kind of got in touch with something general. Do you want to? It's quite a comprehensive email he sent us to superleaguepod@gmail.com. But do you want to start us off with what he had to say, and then I'll pick it up halfway through, and then you can finish it off, I think.
All right, then. Yes, Neil said he listened with interest to the discussion last week on attendances and how to help the Cup ones specifically. And he goes on to say he's been pondering it a bit, especially after hearing about a new initiative that Wycombe Wanderers had launched, marketed as a season ticket for life, but essentially moving their season tickets onto a monthly subscription model, i.e. a monthly direct debit payment, 12 months a year. He goes on, I think this offers an opportunity to rugby league teams and is something that should be explored. Indeed, I've shared the idea with Wire already, so if you see it launched there, you know where they got the idea.
He also said, I think it could be applied with tiering, with my off the top of the head thoughts being a gold membership where you're guaranteed entry to any home games played by all your club's teams, so the first team, reserves, academy, women's, I guess included disability teams as well, potentially. He said that it would include cup and playoff games. Then a silver membership, which would be entry to one selected match a month for the first team, plus all the sub-level teams, an opportunity to purchase tickets for other first team games at a discounted rate. So he said, for example, an 80%. He put a rack rate, but then I had to Google what rack rate meant, and apparently that's like the hotel. It's something to do with hotel rooms. So
okay.
Hotel rooms before they put offers on them or something. So don't get confused between tickets to matches and hotel rooms anyway. Then he's got the bronze membership. He said that's an opportunity to purchase tickets for first team games at a discount, but maybe a lesser discount than the silver membership. No guaranteed entry to games, but an opportunity to purchase them for a lower, for a kind of with a discounted rate, but entry as well to some of the other games like the reserves and the women's and stuff. And he said all could give discounts on merchandise or other perks like discounts on the club TV channel or membership only events, which is similar to what a lot of clubs do already, he said. And yeah, I know that with my Wigan season ticket I get a discount on merchandise at the club shop, and I know that there's events that you've been able to go to, hasn't there, at Hull, that have been exclusive events and that sort of thing.
Yeah. And then he says, obviously the price point is crucial, but I believe an attractive price could be calculated that would provide guaranteed revenue all year round. The model also puts cup and playoff games on a par with league games, meaning that attendances for the most important and widest broadcast games would likely improve without being detrimental to overall revenues or to what fans have to fork out. Removing the need for action to renew annually should be attractive for clubs, as it reduces the dropout risk, and is the model most fans are used to when paying for entertainment, e.g. Sky, even throughout the off-season. And then he finishes off by saying, a final serious offer, I'd be happy to help work something up for free for any club who hears this and is interested in exploring it.
Yeah, and Neil's an accountant by trade, so I'm sure he will be able to help do some work on pricing structures and that kind of thing. I think it's an interesting idea. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's definitely something to consider, isn't it? And I think, like he says, the monthly direct debit, people are used to it, and I think you do see clubs are moving towards that as an option, so people aren't shelling out in one go. And I mean, I know at Hull, you've always got, with being a season ticket holder, you've always got first team and reserves and academy matches included in that, I think.
Yeah, we have home women's matches as well included, I think, now in our season ticket, now that they're back playing at home, yeah.
Yeah, but I do like the idea of also then having the the I don't want to say lesser, but you know what I mean, the silver and the bronze, because some people either can't get to every match and then think, well, what's the point in having a season ticket? And therefore that can then lead to you actually attending less matches than you could, even though you can't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could attend, you end up not going to because you're out the habit.
We have flexi memberships at Wigan, which you can get for 4 games throughout the whole season. You can pick any 4 home games, which I think is it is at a discounted rate than buying all 4 games. I think that's an interesting thing. I've talked to the Wigan club before, to the marketing department and stuff, about bringing in more membership options. Not on this monthly direct debit basis, but I think that could be a way to make sense and make, as well. I like the idea. I'm on an annual rolling direct debit. That's an auto renewal process anyway, so it wouldn't really change things for me, other than I wouldn't need to make sure I had a big amount ready to go in September, October time.
Yeah, I mean, I know Hull a number of years ago did a Super 6 pass, which was like for the last 6 home matches. I think it was maybe I feel like it might have been 2016, when we had that really good run in. But I might be wrong. I can't quite remember when it was. And again, I think that worked out at like you pay for 5 and get the 6th one free, basically. But, that option of being able to be a bit more choosy, because, if you live away and you're travelling for matches, you can't do sometimes.
Yeah. I think any initiatives that people have come across at their clubs, because we're talking about what we've seen at our clubs and a few things that we like, what they've done in the past or at the moment and stuff. Anything interesting and good. I think if it's all put together, I've always been a big advocate, and I think we don't do this enough as a sport, about idea sharing and recognising the club's interdependence on each other. But I don't know how much they do talk and compare about these sorts of things. I think they talk at a high level, but nitty gritty, do they actually sit down and compare often enough?
Did they say we've tried X and it gave Y result?
Yeah, because you're not. I know we all are based in geographically not too far apart from each other, so there is some element of competition between clubs for new supporters, but ultimately we're not really competing with each other for fans as clubs.
It's not like if Wigan come along and say to Hull, "Oh, we've done this four match pass," and Hull say, "Oh, that's a great idea. We'll do that." Wigan fans aren't going to be like, "Oh, do you know something? I'm going to travel down the M60 watch those matches."
No, exactly. But also, anything that's a good idea can translate. It's not like we're two bars set up next to each other on the Blackpool seafront trying to compete for passing business.
Exactly.
So that's really good stuff from Neil. Interesting stuff. You were saying, because we were talking a little bit before we got recording about cup attendances, and you were saying you were a bit dubious about the figure at the game hosted at Featherstone that you went to last week, Sheffield versus Hull FC, and maybe there's an idea for how they can boost the attendance figures that you noticed. What was that?
Sorry, you totally cut out there, Mark.
What was the thing that you thought could have boosted the cup attendance at the game at Post Office Road that you were at last week?
Yeah, so there were just the gates that are normally open as you're leaving. They were open to let you in, and there was a lady stood at one side of the gate, just sort of clicking a few people in for every group that went in. So I'm not sure that she got everyone.
So actually counting the amount of people in the stadium is one way to make sure crowd figures are reported more accurately and potentially more higher in that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it had made a massive difference, but
yeah, no, it was just a funny thing that you said. Oh, actually, whilst we're on the topic of that game last week as well, what was your dad eating in the highlights package?
Some chips. So Lucy, Helen and Owen's little girl, had come for her first match.
That's Sarah's sister, by the way, people.
Yeah, so Helen's my sister, Owen's her husband, who introduced me to the podcast. So you can all